Hi and welcome everyone. Friar Tuck here. This is my epoch, and I've been getting either a lot of requests or just one person making multiple requests that I talk a little bit more about what it's like to be homeless and have a dog. And for those of you that are curious on this subject because you consider that you might be homeless and have an animal, or you are homeless and you have an animal and you're just kind of curious what it's like in other parts of the country, that's a little bit what I'm going to be talking about here. But I have a different viewpoint on having an animal out here versus, being housed up. And this, changes how I view having Sam being out here in the homeless world, living in the homeless community. Okay, because you've got your housed animals; those are pets. Those are animals that have been so domesticated that they're nothing more than companions, because they're really not capable of anything more than that. Okay, because you've dociled them in many different ways. You don't put them to work. So, but out here, your animal is a tool. So let's say you have a Rottweiler, you could have a custom cart and your Rottweiler can pull that for you. Therefore, it is more than just a pet. Now, companionship is a byproduct of having an animal out here. Okay, so Sam, yeah, we have to have some sort of bond, some sort of relationship, because without that bond or that relationship, I don't have the patience to be able to train her. I don't have the desire to be able to, break off some of my resources to make sure that she's taken care of, and all these different things. So that companionship is kind of what bonds all this stuff together. But her primary purpose for being with me is to be a tool, because out here, you are being homeless, even if you are making money. And yes, there are a lot of people that use their pets as a way to be able to panhandle, and they make quite a bit of money doing it. I'm not one of those people. I don't like it, and I don't want to be one of those people. I've had people suggest that I do that, and I have actually turned it down. So with Sam, what she brings to the table, the value that she brings to me, is to be a service animal, which is to go everywhere I go, to not only protect my stuff and me, but to also be there to take care of me should I have one of my blackouts. Okay, so that is her primary purpose with me. Okay, so with that being said, what's it like having an animal out here? Well, having Sam registered as a service animal, which honestly, I think that if you are homeless, your animal should be, if you're going to have an animal out here, it needs to be registered as a service animal, because having it as a pet closes a lot of doors, because a lot of places do not want you to bring a pet in, and they don't want animals within their compound. So when you have a dog as a pet, as a companion on the road for you, and you do not have them registered as a service animal, you're not training them as a service animal, you're not treating them as a service animal, then the system is going to be much harder than what it already is for me with Sam just being a service animal, because there are a lot of places out there that will look at Sam and go, I don't care that she's a service animal. I don't want a dog in my establishment. I don't want a dog in my restaurant. I don't want a dog in my building. I'm afraid of dogs. I don't want that dog around me. There are various reasons on why people will tell you this, but when you are out here, that is one of the most important things that you will have to remember, is that there are going to be a lot of people that do not like your animal. And so therefore, this is why it's important to be able to have some sort of standing, not only to protect yourself, but to protect your animal from people being discriminating against your animal. Because let's say you leave it outside, okay? With Sam, part of it is she's just one of those dogs that she walks in the room and everybody's eyes turn. She's a head turner. Everybody thinks that she's as pretty can be. Okay, but the thing is that also invites people that are criminal minded, or that just see her and lack the self control. Where I have people getting out of their cars, coming and grabbing at Sam, just because they want to pet her, and then they blame it on Sam, saying, "Oh, well, she wanted me to do it." Okay, or if I get mad at him for doing it, I'm the weird one, I'm the asshole. So you're gonna have to deal with, especially if you have an animal that attracts a lot of attention like Sam. Sam attracts attention like no other dog I've ever ever seen. I see other dogs that walk around and everybody completely ignores her. Sam walks around again, she just changes everybody's head. So there are people that want to take her from me because they want her for themselves. Not because they actually want to take care of her, but more like as a trophy, like, oh look, I got I've got this arm trophy on me, and so therefore they can parade it down. I've had people that come up to me on a regular basis. I've had like 3 offers now of people trying to buy Sam off of me. I've had many occasions where people try and call Sam and get her to come to them because they think if they can prove that she'll come to them, that they can take her from me. And so therefore that creates a certain point of confrontation. So you're going to have to deal with people that want to take your animal from you. And then not only that, you're going to have to deal with people that may not agree with your method of handling your dog. As long as you are not neglecting your dog, which means just like tying it up and leaving it at camp, okay? As long as you're not punching your dog with a closed fist, as long as you're not kicking your dog, that is animal abuse, okay? As long as you're not starving your dog, okay? As long as you're not doing those things, whatever anybody has to say, it is nothing more than a disagreement, because within the law and within our society and what we've got set up for these animals, you have a lot more latitude than people think. And most of these people just they don't get it through their heads that when they come and they disrupt the ability to reprimand your animal, they're actually not only are they interrupting it, but now you're instilling bad behavior into the animal, because if it happens multiple times, every time you go to reprimand the animal, whether it be something verbal or like sometimes I'll stomp my foot at Sam because I want to get her to kind of get out of this tunnel vision that she has, or things like that. And plus the vibration on the ground kind of gets her attention. So it's not harmful, it's not malicious, it's not anything like that. But to some people, they see that and just go and they go off the hinges, okay? And so therefore, being in public, you are going to have a lot more interference in training a dog. So if you're going to have a dog out here, you're going to want to have your dog trained. Okay, so that is another key important point of what it's like having an animal out here, is that you need to have it trained. You need to have it to a point where it does not deal with other people other than you. Now with Sam, because she's a social dog, one of the things that I have to do is I will take her to certain people that I know, that I can trust, that I know that don't interfere in my ability to discipline Sam, because I use it as a training experience, because she just, when she sees one of her friends, she just goes nuts, and I need her to be able to keep her composure in the event that something like that happens, because she does the same thing when she sees another dog. So if I can get her to keep her composure, but again, I use it as a training exercise, but I also give her the opportunity to have her social instances with certain people that I trust out within the homeless community. That way she can get the attention that she wants from the outside world from somebody other than me. Okay, and so if you have a social dog, this is something that you may want to consider when doing something like that. Now, there are people out there that just let people grab at their dog and pet their dog and all this other stuff. But with Sam, not only because I'm training her to be a service animal and needing her to have a certain code of conduct, but just as any other tool, she is there to offer life-saving opportunities. An axe is going to allow you to cut wood so that you can build a fire so that it keeps you alive in the winter. In the same way, a dog is there to be able to offer protection from outside aggressors, especially if you're outnumbered. At least having a dog will even the numbers. And so therefore, when you're training a dog in that sense, there is a certain amount of dissociation that has to be between you and the animal, as well as a certain bond, because you have to be able to discipline the animal without having too much emotion involved, whether it be anger or whether it be sadness, because nobody really likes to have to discipline their dog. It's probably the worst thing that you ever have to do. But out here, especially when you have a status of a service dog, and the way in which the prejudice you have to deal with, that all that does is just create more instances where you have to make sure that your animal is on their P's and Q's. Now, there are certain parts of this country that absolutely love dogs, they're very tolerant of dogs, and so on and so forth. Like, okay, for example, here in Cincinnati, I can go into any place and they're tolerable of Sam kind of spazzing out. But I cross the river, I go into Kentucky. If she spazzes out, we get kicked out of the food line, and we can no longer go there and eat. So these are certain avenues and certain doors that get closed because you are losing access to your to certain services because of the behavior of your animal, especially when you're in the training phase. So if you're wondering what it's like to be able to have an animal out here, this is more like the dark truth of what really happens with animals that are out on the streets, that are meant to be tools, that are meant to be an addition. Because quite frankly, this is just my opinion. When it comes to an animal, if you are going to have an animal out here, it needs to be a tool. It needs to be an addition, something that is going to complement your gear and your lifestyle. Okay, it's not there to make you money. It's not there for companionship. Again, that's byproduct. Because here's the thing: you're barely putting yourself together as is. And if you're going to have an animal just as a pet, that is taking away from resources in your self-sustenance. And so if things ever get tight because they start cutting off programs, or food starts getting scarce and things like that, now you have to choose between feeding yourself and feeding your dog. Okay, and you shouldn't be put in that situation, nor should you put yourself in that situation. Okay, and even my old man and I, as much as we butted heads, we also have that agreement on something like that. That's why Sam is a tool. If Sam was just going to be a pet and a companion, I would not have kept her. The first time somebody would have offered me some form of money, I would have let her go, because with a pet, you can't really have a pet out here. Okay, so anyways, you guys know how to help the channel. Share this video with your friends and family on all your social media. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. Everything else is down in the description. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.